Hi everyone, welcome back to my stitching channel. This is Stitch with Leslie. I'm so glad that you're here. I can't believe it's the end of February already. Like, where did this month go? It's a little wild. But I have lots of stitching updates for you. I want to talk about some finishes I have. I have 4 new starts, and then once I go through all of my whips, I want to talk and give an update on my Stitchy Games that are going on. What I love, what I've stopped, and what's getting ready to start. This video might be a little bit longer than normal, so in the description box, I will have the timestamps. So please feel free. You can just click on the timestamp and it will forward to that section of the video for you. So let's get going. Let's talk February stats. I cannot believe this month and the amount of stitching I did. I don't expect this to continue to happen. I really don't. So for this month, I stitched 17,708 stitches. I worked on 27 projects. 7 of those projects were new starts, and I finished 3 in the month of February. I stitched 79 hours and 11 minutes, and I stitched 27 days total. I only missed one, February 2nd, when I filmed my last Flosstube video. So, it's kind of a lot. Yeah. There you go. I'm shocked by it. So there's that. So my first finish is Kindness by Heart and Hand. Yay! Completely done. I started this on August 31st, 2025. In this last 2 weeks, I was able to put in 697 stitches, which brought it to 100%. So I finished it February 17th. So, but yeah, I got really close and decided to just whip it out and finish it. I've talked about this before, about how the colors just do not match what is in the pattern. And so this is just a real, like, a good lesson for me, that when I'm buying, these are Classic Colorworks, but when I'm buying hand-dyed floss, I really need to, like, just double check those dye lots. So this doesn't have as much variety as the model does, but I really like it. Now, Cecilia finished hers in a drum setting, and this was the top. I'm not sure. I think Primrose Cottage has like a white scalloped frame that I might finish this in. I just need to double check to see if the size will work, but it's so cute. And even though it's a Valentine's thing, because it says kindness, I feel like this is something that could just go up all year round, and it's for everyone all the time. So yeah. My second finish of the month was actually a start and a finish. It was February's Free Start Friday from Primrose Cottage, and it was called Lucky. And it was just a little stitch. It had 652 stitches in it, so not bad. So I started this on February 21st, and I finished it yesterday on February 28th. So just a cute little guy. Super tiny. And I'll finish it as a pillow, like you can see in the cover stitch. But yay. So that's the first time I've finished a Free Stitch Friday from Primrose Cottage, the month that it was sent out in. So that's really exciting. Okay, let's go through some of my new starts. This first one is called Broadway. It's by Taylor and Cromwell, and it is the stitch along for one of the Stitchy Game groups I'm in. It's Fandom and Stitches, and this year the theme is all Broadway musicals, which I am loving, and I'm going to talk about that more in the end. So this is quite a hefty piece. I do not know if I'm going to do that border. That is a lot of black and those Broadway lights. Like, I love it, but we'll see where I'm at. So I am doing this on just a 28 count white Lugana, and I have put in 868 stitches, so I'm at 3.6%. That includes the border that I might not do. But I started this on February 8th. I didn't show it in my last Flosstube because I hadn't done very much. But yeah, 860, almost 900 stitches. So this show is for Les Mis, and it says, "Do you hear the people?" This is, I have white, sing. And then we'll have the French flag here. So we get points for every letter that we finish. So I'm almost done with the first letter. I mean, I say almost done. I still have all of this. And I mean, this is a lot of stitches. When I first saw it, I didn't think it was going to be this big, but it is. But I think it's going to look great. And it will be a great memory for this year of joining this stitching group. So next we have Noel Ornament Sampler by Samplers and Primitives. I am in love with this piece, so in love with it. I'm doing this on a 32 count Murmur by Picture This Plus. And I have put in 738 stitches so far, and I'm at 8.76%, and I started this on February 16th. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, this fabric. And I did a Cosmo floss conversion, and so far I'm really happy with the conversion because, you know, colors are not always perfect, but it's this variety of pinks, and then like terracotta colors that kind of end up looking red. Oh, it's going to be gorgeous. So gorgeous. So I started in the corner, worked my way down to the letters. There's quite a lot of space. And because I'm doing this on a Lugana, I sometimes struggle with counting accurately. And so this is probably going to be completed by connecting like sections together. But yeah, it's so pretty. And I haven't seen other people stitch this, and it really makes me sad. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. And the color, oh, the color play. And I'm really happy with my fabric choice as well. Like, I'm loving this. It is on a 32 count, which can be harder for me to see. And so this is something that I have to stitch on like when I first get home from work. It can't be something that I do later on in the night when my eyes are tired. But So my next new start is Tapestry of 12. It is from Just Cross Stitch magazine, and it is from a variety, 12 different designers, and I wish I knew which designer did which block. I haven't checked their Instagrams to see if they're letting people know, but I decided to do this on 28 count Oracle Lugana by Picture This Plus. And I decided to do my own color conversion. My living room is grays and teals and yellows, and so I wanted to do an ombre effect. So I did get the first square done. It was 301 stitches, and that puts me at 7.88%. And that is an estimate because this is coming out in 4 sections throughout the year. And so I took the total number of stitches for this section and multiplied it by 4. But, oh. So super light, but here are the remaining floss colors that I've chosen. So I decided to go in an ombre And then come back out to this really, really pale blue. So this will be the ombre. And so it'll go in a diagonal like this as an ombre. And so my two darkest colors will have the most amount of blocks in those colors. So I loved this because I'm a quilter and they just reminded me of quilt blocks. But I think this ombre, the teals and aquas on this gray fabric, I think it's going to look just stunning. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. And the last thing I started on February 28th was, this sounds crazy, it's my Windows of Time by Crocetta Go-Go January. And it's because it was part of my Traitors Stitchy game, and this person didn't do anything, wasn't accused, wasn't banished until later on. So it's on a 28 count mushroom Lugana. All of them will be on this fabric. And I did 384 stitches and I got 21.43%. So I really am glad I went with this mushroom so that you could see the white really well. So yeah. Okay, now let's go through my whips that I've been working on for a while. The first one that I want to talk about is Home is Where the Wreath Is by Stitching with the Housewives, and my goal was to have the H done by the end of February. And guess what? The H is done. And from far away, it looks pretty dang good. Up close, you know, when you stitch with white on darker fabric, can be a little sketchy, but not bad. I was able to add 671 stitches, so I'm now at 39%. 39.75%, and I started my M as well. So I'm going to do the same thing where I'm outlining the M and then we'll fill in. So I'm kind of tempted. So a lot of people do temperature stitching, and I just don't think I can add in another whip or project. But I have thought about maybe temperature stitching, but the number of degrees, that's the number of stitches I put in every day on this. I don't know, that's kind of hard because I tend to stitch by threads. So 1 thread, 2 threads, 3 threads, right? I also have thought about doing a thread a day on this, which is about 40, well, this is a 16 count, so probably 50 something stitches to try to like continually work on it. Because this fill-in is really hard for me, as we saw with the H. Took me a while to get it done. But I think if I was consistent, then it might go faster. So I'm debating about that. I don't know if I want to commit to it just yet, but it's an idea that I have. Next, I worked on, almost all of these are for my Stitchy game, so I worked on Just Keep Stitching by Primrose Cottage, and I was able to put in, oh, I always name this wrong. I always say Just Keep Stitching. This is Stitching Rules. It's on 28 count, light ash gray Lugana, and I put in 317 stitches, and I'm now at 23.62%, but that's an estimate because I can't tell. But yeah, so most of it was this lacy border, and like what, it's hard to tell, but there is white around each of the letters. So I did mostly the white. So I do have some more down here and some B's. So like this is a B, and so there are B's in here, but yeah. Looking good. Next we have Happy 250th Birthday America by Primrose Cottage. This is my work lunch stitch. I was only able to stitch on it, I think, 2 times in the last 2 weeks. which meant that I only sat down and took a lunch break 2 times in the last 2 weeks. So I need to work on that. I'm doing this on 16 count We Are the People Aida fabric by Fabric Flair. So it's a printed fabric. And I was able to put in 286 stitches and I'm at 22%. So it's kind of a little harder to see, but I did all of the white stars and then started up here on white. I did end up doing 3 strands of white to try to help them show up. This fabric is just a tad bit too light. The model was stitched on something darker. So in person, you can always see it better in person than you can on a screen. But yeah, I like the concept. I'm going to keep going with it and not change it at this point. So next we have Honeybee Sampler by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. And I'm doing this on 25 count parchment Lugana by Lori Holt. And I put in 410 stitches and it's now at 12. Oh, there's Athena. I put in 410 stitches and it's now at 12.9%. And I'm doing 3 threads because it is a 25 count. I wanted it to be really solid and get that like, oh gosh. Sorry. And get that thick texture. So I finished my numbers and started working on this large beehive motif. But one thing I would love your advice on is, so I'm doing this in Whiskey by Weeks Dye Works. But in samplers, a lot of people will stitch their initials. Well, my initials are LM, and so I want to stitch the LM that is actually in the alphabet, so you can see it in like the small alphabet and the large one. Because they're next to each other and they are my initials, I want to stitch them in a slightly different color to add maybe a different way of putting my initials into a piece. So I have this Sassy Brass or Queen Bee. So I want you to try to imagine my initials. So everything else will be in this color. But if I just did my initials, what color I should do them in. So Queen Bee is the lighter one. Sassy Brass is the darker one. Oh. There goes Athena leaving my room so that she can probably go sleep on my bed. And you can see my laundry baskets and the edge of my long arm quilting machine there. That's okay. We'll just scooch over a little bit, but yeah. So let me know what you like. I'm probably going to work down. Once I finish this, I kind of want to work down and I'll get into the small alphabet. So I want to make that decision sooner rather than later. Yeah. I'm loving this. I think it's gorgeous. Oh, and I love this parchment and this texture in the Lugana. Gorgeous. Okay, next we have Little Acorns, the Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along for 2026. Since you last saw it, I have put in 398 stitches and I'm at 16.73%. So I continued to work in here and I got a few words in and then I did come up and start this section. And I think I'm just going to kind of bounce around a little bit, see what I feel like. But here she is. And I'm doing this on, let's see, 14 count Molly Aida by Picture This Plus. Yeah, it's looking good. I'm super excited to see it. If you want to check out Steph over at Wild Fox Stitchery, she is also doing this, but she is cutting out certain sections. So I think it's really cool to see what she's doing. And then I also included in the description box the hashtag if you want to check it out on Instagram. I believe it's MFESAL, so Modern Folk Embroidery SAL, right? 2026. So, but it's so cool to see what everybody else is doing. I love it. Love it. I am doing this like back stitching. We're supposed to be doing it with just one strand of floss, but I just do it with 2 strands as I'm right there, and then I move forward. And I really like that. I tend to do a lot of back stitch in 2 strands, especially if it's something that I want people to see really well. So, Okay, next we have Sayings of the Season, Winter. I feel like I should be done with this already, but it's deceptively busy. So since you've seen it last, I have put in 243 stitches, and I'm at 78.9%, but that's an estimate because my program isn't counting stitches accurately. But here it is. I've finished my snowman. I'm starting the banners. I have the box. So I'm getting there. I'm getting really close. So, yeah. But unfortunately, I think once I finish the Stitchy, it's part of Traitors. I just have a few more stitches to do in it. I think it's going to go away, and I don't know if I'll have it finished because I'm ready to stitch spring, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay, next we have Happy Valentine's Day by Primrose Cottage. It was part of their Sip and Stitch box that came out in February. I'm doing this on a 32 count blush Lugana by Zweigart. I added in 256 stitches, so I'm now at 52.8%. So most of it was in the happy up here, in the letters, and then the tree branch. So, yeah. I do have a few more stitches to put into this one for games, and then it will go away as well, unfortunately. Maybe. Wait, I can't remember. I might have included it in Survivor because I do want to finish it. Okay, next we have Snow Beautiful by the Tiny Modernist, and it is in Cross Stitcher magazine. And I am doing this on 28 count petal by Picture This Plus. And since you last saw it, I have put in 340 stitches. And so I believe I did the house. I finished filling in the house, and now I just have shutters and some fill-in. Yeah. I have my fabric picked out, and I am ready now that it's March 1st to start the spring version. And it is going to be in my Survivor Stitchy game, so I'll talk about that in a minute. Next we have Hello Dear by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I just realized I have a thread, so hold please while I trim this thread out. This was part of the Traitors Stitchy game, and it did not get very many stitches. Like, this person was only ever banished, and so it only got the 200 stitches for banishment. I am doing this on 14 count Malted Milk Aida by Lori Holt, and I put in 213 stitches all right in here. So I finished up these leaves, and I believe I did these blue and this red, but so it's all in here. But that brought me up to 59.35%. Yeah. So this will be going away until I am ready to stitch winter again. Next we have Touch of Magic by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I am doing this on a 14 count, let's see, Gray Small Cobwebs by Fabric Flair. And I put in 273 stitches and it brought it up to 12.73%. So I finished all of the orange in the moon shadow, and then the hat, and then just a little symbol here. I did it for a Stitchy game where I had to stitch on something where I had altered it in some way. So because I have altered the colors in this and then added all of this backstitch, that's what I did. And I'm not counting the backstitch in my number of stitches. My program won't do that, and I don't have a clicker or anything. So I still need to finish backstitching the O, O, and N. And then I'm ready to move on to the next set of words. So, and I changed this color to match the color that's going to be in these words as well. So they kind of will look like they go together in sections. So, yeah. But I think the decision to backstitch is definitely going to be worth it in the end, 100%. So, yeah. That one's going to go away for a while as well. And then last but not least, this is one of my oldest whips. I started it in August of 2025. So it's Lovely Ladybugs. It's by the Fat Quarter Shop. It was one of their Stitch Quarterly boxes. And I used this in the Traitors Stitchy game. And it got 153 stitches. It's now at 37.55%. I'm doing this on a 14 count Morganite Aida by Fiber on a Whim. And I worked on these leaves here. And Fiber on a Whim, if you are looking for a very soft fabric, this is it. And actually, like, it is so soft, it's kind of hard for me to stitch on since I stitch in hand. And I've thought about starching it. When I quilt, I will pre-starch all of my fabric. I soak it completely wet in spray starch, hang it to dry, and then press it. And what it does is when you're cutting, especially if you're cutting on the bias, it really helps things not to stretch weirdly. And I've thought about trying to starch this and see if I can give it a little bit more body to make it easier for me to hold in hand. So, yeah. But there's Lovely Ladybugs. I don't always show everything that I buy in like a haul video. But I did want to share this. I was able to snag a Mirabilia Lady of the Flag. And I just, I love this. I love this so much. So I have this. I need to figure out how to get this pattern digitally. If you've never done a Mirabilia, folded up in here is a massive piece of paper. And I know that a lot of people photocopy their Mirabilias because they want to keep the original pattern pristine. I am debating about recharting it in a cross-stitch software so that I can have a digital copy for my own use, to put it into Markup XP. But yeah, I'm really grateful that I snagged one of these. And I did decide to go with DMC and not do a floss conversion on this, just to sort of honor the colors. There are a few colors, ignore this like bright purple and sparkly for another pattern, but like here's the colors. I ordered the DMC from 123 Stitch and they came this week, so I need to put all those on floss drops. But what I really wanted to show you was the fabric I decided to go with. So I decided to go with a 32 count Lugana by Fabric Flair, and it is called Declaration on Parchment, and it is the Declaration of Independence. So here it is. Scoop back. I know a lot of people are doing this on a We the People fabric. And I forget who makes that. But I really want to do Lugana. I didn't want linen. I didn't want Aida. And I wanted it to be fairly light to sort of match how light it is here. And for me, this really is like, this image really aligns with the Declaration of Independence, that we're seeking liberty, right? And freedoms. So, oh, sorry. So here it is up close. I do like that it's centered in the piece, and there is quite a lot of margin so that you can really center it the way you want to. But yeah, it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. So I need to sort of figure out how she's going to fit in here. Probably count out stitches. I would like for the flag to peak, like the top of the flag to be up here, come down, and her crown to be here. I would really like Declaration to be seen. So I need to figure out what that looks like and have her crown maybe here. But again, this all depends on the number of stitches and if she will then fit over the top of the rest of this Declaration. If not, then I'll just center it and work with it that way. But I did get a larger piece than I needed, like quite a bit larger piece, so that I would have room to center her and put her where I wanted. And then when I frame it, I will frame it so that you can see the entire Declaration. And so I thought this piece and my 250 stars piece that's on the preamble to the Constitution, I just thought that these would look really, really well together. So yeah. So I'm very excited and completely nervous about starting this. It will probably take me a little bit to start it just because I do want to chart it. And I did buy the bead pack, so I have all of the beads as well. And I know that there's a Facebook group online just for Lady of the Flag, I think. And I have seen a lot of color conversions where people have converted it to look like the Statue of Liberty so that the colors are like that. But it's my first Mirabilia. It's such kind of a grand piece. I want to make sure that it looks great. And to do that, for me, who's still new, I want to follow this exactly, like to the T. So, yeah. So that's a great big thing that I'm getting ready to start. I will say, like, I knew that the resale market for Mirabilias was a thing. And I know that this pattern, I think, was going for close to $300 or more. And now that it's been re-released, you know, it makes you wonder how much it will go for. And there's a Flosstuber I watch called Stitching the Globe, I think. I'll link her below. But she did a video of the most expensive cross stitches on the reseller market in 2025. And Lady of the Flag was one of them. Queen of Freedom, that was also re-released, was one of them as well in the top 3. And she talked about how she wondered what would happen to the reseller market for those two patterns now that there's a whole bundle of people like me who were able to buy this. And I bought it for, was it $40, $45 or something like that? It was just the standard price. It does come with like a 2026 charm. And so, you know, that's nice. But I have seen already online people reselling this pattern and their beads. I've seen $350 for the pattern, the beads, the fabric, like the whole kit except for the floss. I saw today one lady had 4 of them and was selling them for $150 each. And it kind of makes me sad. It really does. It makes me sad. So this may take me years to do. It may take me a long time. But when I'm done, I will not be selling this pattern. I will be giving it away. I'll probably do a giveaway here on Flosstube because I just, that reseller market is, I don't know, it just kind of makes me sick. I feel like maybe people are taking advantage of other people. And so I know a lot of people share their memorabilia patterns. They pass them around to their friends. I don't have any friends who cross stitch like this. And so, you know, maybe in like 3 or 4 years, I will. We'll pass it around, but I won't be selling this. I will be giving it to friends to stitch, or I will be giving it away. So that's the plan. But I'm very excited to start her. Okay, let's talk Traitors. I have not wanted to talk about the game throughout this whole month. And so if you have not finished Traitors, if you have not watched Traitors, if you're not interested in Traitors, please feel free to use the links below, the timestamps to skip ahead. So this last week was the finale. And boy, was it a finale. I will be honest. Rob winning really surprised me. I did not think that he was going to be able to win. I 100% thought that he was going to throw Eric under the bus and that Eric would get out. I did not think the two of them were going to make it to the end. But I really thought that Mara would flip on Rob. And it's just so sad that like Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir did not figure out who the traitors were until the very end. And I do think it hurt them not letting people know that they knew each other so well. So, you know, at the very end, like I think 2 episodes ago, they kind of let everybody know, hey, we're best friends in real life. And because we're best friends, I know that this person is not a traitor. And in like the final, one of the final round tables, Rob did exactly what a smart player would do. And he said to them, wouldn't it be so great if one of you was the traitor and you recruited the other? I mean, brilliant. When he said that, I thought, oh, yeah, he's going to win. He's going to win. And I couldn't believe that Eric was so shocked when Rob, like, betrayed him. I thought, he betrayed 2 other traitors. Like, did you really think he wasn't going to betray you? I don't know. That was just kind of crazy. So, in my Stitchy game, I still have to stitch all of this from the very last episode. I'm working on it. And so in my planner, I have, let me get to that page. Oh, I have all of this. So hold on. Ignore all this, but I have all of these stitches left to do for the finale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 1,800 stitches to go. I mean, it was a lot. They had several round tables, lots of accusing, lots of people getting banished and murdered in that last episode. I do have a few from before that I need to also catch up on. One of them is B by Lorna Lane. And here it is. I've been doing it on a 25 count even weave, but I'm really not liking that I want to do full cross. So I bought, oh, I didn't bring it up here. Oh, I'm sorry. I brought a butternut Lugana, or no, a 20 count Aida in butternut from 123 Stitch. So when I'm going to restart B on that fabric. So I need to grit it, I need to restart it, and I'm going to do that so that I can stitch in hand. Because I love that piece and I do want to work on it, but it's just been so hard. So there's that I still need to catch up on, and I still need to do some 12 days. I haven't been working on my 12 days, which makes me really sad. So I need to like buckle down, maybe assign some days. I know there are people who do like on the 24th or the 25th of every month, they do something Christmas. And I thought, okay, maybe I need to assign 3 days a month or 4 days a month. So once a week, and work on my 12 days of Christmas. So it's just hard when I don't feel like stitching Christmas and I don't feel like stitching winter anymore. So yeah, so that's the Traitors. In the end, I was able, once I finish all of this, I will have put in 7,350 stitches just with this game. And I have about 1,600 stitches to go. So that's really exciting, really exciting. So coming up, well, I guess it's technically started. It started on Thursday, is the Survivor Stitchy game. So I've made my own card and sheet, and you can download it. I have the link below, and it's based off of making things with string and their Survivor Stitchy game, and they will be doing that as well. So if you don't want to follow me, follow them. For Survivor, though, I will be talking about what happened so that I can show you what I plan on working on. So that is a change. So first, I want to show you all of the whips that I chose for the Survivor Stitchy game. I decided to do all new starts. And I think it's because so I started stitching last summer, and because of the way releases happen, it was all fall, autumn, Christmas. And so I really don't have a lot of spring things, and I've sort of been collecting them. So I want to show you all of the pieces that I want to do and who I've assigned them to. And then we'll talk about what happened in this week's episode, the first episode. So first we have the Sela tribe. They're in this like orangey color. And I've decided to assign this tribe Hello Petal by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. So I'm not stitching on Hello Deer anymore. We're going to move to Hello Petal, which is their spring stitch. And since Survivor will be on for March and April, maybe into May, I can't remember how far they go. So maybe into May, this is all spring stitching. So Hello Petal will be the Sela tribe. So if they win any challenges in these first 6 or 7-ish episodes, they get points as a tribe. If they go to tribal council, they'll get points as a tribe. And if they're saved from tribal council, they'll get points. Next, we have the Callow tribe. And they are like an aqua teal color. And I've decided to do Spring Has Sprung. So the Tiny Modernist is releasing these quarterly seasonal stitches in Cross Stitcher magazine. I've been working on Snow Beautiful. That's going to be put away, and Spring Has Sprung is next. So that's their tribe whip. Then we have Vatu, which is pinky purple, and I'm doing Saying of the Season Spring by Stitching with the Housewives. So I'm going to start that one. So now let's talk about all of the individual players. So individual players will get stitches on their whips if they win a challenge, like an immunity challenge, or if they go on a journey and they win a challenge there. Or if it's later on, if they win reward, if a tribe wins a reward challenge, they get the reward. They get their stitches on the tribe whip. An individual will get stitches if they find an idol or an advantage. They'll get one if they use an idol or an advantage, only if they use it on themselves. If they decide to use the advantage on somebody else or the idol on somebody else, the person they use it on will get those stitches. They'll get stitches if they use an idol at tribal council and it saves them. So if they use the idol at tribal council and it doesn't save them, they'll get 100 stitches. If they use the idol and it actually saves them from being eliminated, they'll get 200 stitches. Individuals will get stitches for if they're eliminated, and there's different amounts if they're blindsided or if they kind of had an idea. So we're going to do these in alphabetical order rather than by tribe. So first we have Angelina. She was on season 37, which was David versus Goliath, which I didn't really like that season. I felt like everybody who was on the Goliath tribe were mean. I didn't like that premise. So that's okay. I don't know much about her, but she is doing, I've assigned her Wordy Birds March. Next we have Aubrey. She was in Brains versus Brawn versus Beauty. This was season 32. And she was in Game Changers as well in 34. And she was in Edge's Extinction. So she has played 3 other times. So you would think she'd be a great player. I don't know how I feel about her. I'll be honest. She did make some waves this first time around. And she's starting to make some moves. But she's made an alliance with someone that she doesn't actually like. So I don't know how that's going to work out in the end for her. But I assigned for her Wordy Birds April. Okay, next we have Charlie. He played in Survivor season 46. And he came in second on his season. And I assigned for him the Hands-On Design Ornament Club. So I'll just work through ornaments for him. I actually really liked Charlie. I feel like he played a really good game. So I'm excited to see how he does this time around. Next we have Chrissy, and she played in season 35. It was Heroes versus Hustlers. And so she hasn't been back in a long time. So I think she might be a little rusty. I mean, that sounds crazy because it's probably only been like 8 years, but I assigned her Miss Liberty from Teresa Kogut. Yeah, so we'll see how she does. I don't think she's going to make it very far, but she might slide under the radar. So. Okay, next we have Christian, who was also on David versus Goliath. So he was a David. Angelina was a Goliath. And he placed 7th in his season. He is known for like Puzzle Master. And I don't know how he's going to do. I can see him making it past the merge. But I don't know how much further than that. And I assigned for him Flowers as part of the Word Swap series by Stitching with the Housewives. Okay, next we have Suri. Suri is a legend. She's a goat of Survivor. She has played 5 times. So let me read these off. She has played, her first season was season 12 in Panama, Exile Island. Then she played Micronesia, which is fans versus favorites. Season 16, where she like manipulated a fan and made it so close to the end. Then she played on Heroes versus Villains in season 20. I think she was a hero, but like I see Suri so differently than other people. And she played Survivor in Game Changers in season 34. And I also feel like she played in Australian Survivor, I think. She played in season 1 of the Traitors, and she won. And she did the same thing she did in Fans versus Favorites, because season 1 of the Traitors was part like celebrity, part real people. And she like got these real people to like believe and trust her because she's so relatable. Like, she's such a mom. And she went all the way to the end with a partner, turned out to be a traitor, and took all the money. And then she also appeared in Big Brother season 25, which she did really well in that one as well. And she played like her son was also in the house. And she was like the only like celebrity, I think, in that season. And I'm surprised they didn't get rid of her right away. Like, I'm actually surprised that Suri didn't get voted out in this first episode. And she was really close to getting voted out. So I don't think she's going to last very long. Although, if she lasts to the merge, she might go really far. So she just has to survive her tribe, who sees her as a threat because she is so well liked. Yeah. There's a big part of me that would want her to win, but I did not put her down as the person who I thought would win. Oh, I didn't do Suri. Let's rewind. For Suri, I am going to do Santa's Wreath by Teresa Kogut. So pretty. I got this at the Jingle Ball, so I don't know if it's still called that when she re-released it. Okay, next we have Coach. He played Survivor season 18 in Brazil. Then he played in Her Heroes versus Villains and in South Pacific. So Heroes versus Villain was 20 and then season 23. So he did several back-to-back, 18, 20, 23. Like, because they filmed them together in like chunks of 2, right? He's a lot older now, and it has been a long time. He's never played in the new era. I don't know how well he's going to do. I think he will be well liked, and I think he will be completely blindsided and eliminated. But for him, so yeah. So for Coach, I'm going to do Lady of the Flag. Yeah. Yep. Although I know that I'm going to try to be working on it at other times. It won't just be Survivor stitching. Okay, next we have Dee, who won Survivor season 45. And if I was surprised when she won that season. So we'll see how she does, but she's one of the few winners so far, and I think that might get her in trouble. So for her whip, I chose We Are Blessed, the sampler by Teresa Kogut. So 3 Teresa Koguts there. And I skipped Colby, so let me go back and talk about Colby. For Colby, I'm going to do Summer Quaker by Primrose Cottage, and it is with Dinky Dye Silks, and I love this like bright yellow color, so I'm excited to start that one. He played in season 2 of Survivor in Australia. He was a comp beast. Then he came back and played in season 8 of All Stars. And then he played again in season 20, Heroes versus Villains. But he has never played in the new era. And you could tell in the first season, he was like gathering his people. And he was talking about like somebody on the tribe who isn't a provider. Someone who's not going to like pitch in and help. And it was actually someone from season 49. It was Rizzo. And you could tell he was like, I want to vote that kid out. By the end of this episode, he was like, the kid's really funny. He's entertaining. Like, maybe he has some value to our tribe. But I don't think he's prepared for people to like not care about whether or not they eat or whether or not they're provided for. So I don't know. He might get completely backstabbed because I don't think he's ready for this game. But okay, next we have Emily, who was incredibly controversial. She played in season 45. They lost every challenge, and she is really blunt, incredibly honest, but she said this game she wants to build friendships and relationships, so I hope she can. For her, I've decided to do Free Stitch Friday. So any Free Stitch Friday that I need to finish or any new ones that come up, that's what hers will be. So what I need to finish is September's, I forget what it's called. I'll put up a picture here. It's the Halloween one. And then Merry and Bright Mice from November. So those are the two that I still need to finish. And then, of course, we'll get a new one this Friday. And maybe that one will be hers because I know it's spring themed. So, I mean, let's be honest. I'll probably start with that one. Okay, next we have Genevieve. She was in season 47, so fairly recent. She ended up not winning. It's interesting because I don't remember much about her game, but she was just a few seasons ago. I know that she has started to build alliances. She will probably do an all-girls alliance. So we'll see how she does. She's kind of a person who likes to keep her enemies close, or she gets completely duped by them. So for her whip, we're going to do floral etchings. And I am mixing floral etchings 1 and 2, and I'm going to mix up the flowers. I haven't decided exactly which 3 flowers I'm going to do, but it will be a combination of these. Okay, next we have Jenna. She played in season 1 of Survivor. She was super young. She did return and played All Stars in season 8. I did not think she would make it far in this game. And I was right. She was the first person who was kicked out of Survivor. And it's kind of sad that she's from the first season, back when nobody knew what Survivor was going to be, right? But she was not prepared for how this game is played. For Jenna, I have assigned her Primavera by Satsuma Street. It is her spring. She has one for every season. So it's her spring stitch. Yeah. There's more stitches in this than you realize, so I won't get close to getting it done, even though it looks small. So next we have Joe. He played in Survivor 48. He came in 3rd. He played a really loyal game with a fellow survivor, Eva, and it was almost like a father-daughter relationship that they had. He is incredibly athletic. I think he will not make it past the merge, or he will be eliminated shortly after the merge, because you want him on your tribe for the tribe to win competitions. But once it's an individual game, he becomes like a much bigger threat, because if you feel like you can't beat him in an individual challenge, then you will never get immunity. So I was actually surprised when he made it as far as he did in season 48. I don't think they're going to make that mistake again this season. And for Joe, I decided to do Modern Magic by Emma Congdon. I don't know if it's called something different now. I got this from a magazine, a cross-stitch magazine. I think I got it from Cross Stitcher, but I can't remember. So that will be Joe's. And I'm waiting for the fabric to come on this one. Then we have Jonathan, who was also a challenge beast. Huge. He played in Survivor 42. He ended up placing 4th in 42. I think it will be the same story. I think him and Joe are going to try to hook up and align, and it will become this like boys alliance that they're going to end up getting rid of these guys. So, and then for Jonathan, I'm also doing another Emma Congdon piece, Keep Shining. I have bought some of those threads already, the sparkly threads, and I'm excited to get started on this one. And I'm also waiting for the fabric to come on this one. So hopefully they don't get eliminated soon, him and Joe, because I'm still waiting on fabric for both of those guys. So next we have Camilla, who I really honestly think should have won season 48. Kyle was the person she played with in season 48. They were a secret partnership. So I want her to win this season because I really wanted her to win the last one. So she ended up placing 4th, which was sad. But she can't play that same game, right? She cannot play like a secret alliance game like she did with Kyle. People will be looking for that. So far, she's kind of flown under the radar, and I think that that's kind of the best bet at this point in the game. So for her, I assigned her all the whips in the February Sip and Stitch box. So happy Valentine's Day. And then I'm calling this one Strawberry Love. And then this last one, which is Toadstool Kisses. So any of those that I want to work on, I want to assign to Camilla. So next we have Kyle. And he won season 48. For Kyle, I've assigned him this Laundry Trio by Hands On Design. I don't know which one I'll start with first, but we have Irony, we have Loads of Fun, and Never Ending Cycle. So that's what I've assigned to Kyle. He was Camilla's friend, buddy, partner, everything. He was in multiple alliances. I mean, he was brilliant. He was super smart. I don't think he would have made it as far as he did without Camilla. Unfortunately, in this first episode, he was injured and had to leave the game. So I think it's the best thing for Camilla that he left the game, in all honesty. But it is sad. You never want to see somebody leave Survivor because of an injury. Like, you know, they're there to compete. Okay, next we have Mike White, who is the director and the writer of a really popular show that I don't watch, so now I don't remember. Is it White Lotus? I can't remember what it's called. I should have probably looked that up. For Mike, I've assigned Spring Quaker by Primrose Cottage. I really love this monochromatic, and I did get this same floss, so it will be like that. That will be great. He played in David versus Goliath. Again, not a season that I loved. He was on the David team. But, you know, he's smart. He's witty. He gets along with a lot of people. I don't think he'll win. I think he'll make it past the merge though. But he took off his shirt in one of the competitions this first round, and he came back with muscles, like muscles. He is working out. So if he can make it past the merge, he might surprise us in those individual challenges, and he might start winning challenges. We'll see. He is also, I think, the oldest of all the challengers. Maybe him and Serene. Okay, next we have Ozzy. For Ozzy, I actually assigned one of the tribe whips. So the 3 tribe whips are the ones that I really want to focus on and get done. There are also bigger ones for me, or maybe harder ones, but we have Hello Petal, Spring has Sprung, and Saying it's Season Spring. So for Ozzy, I have assigned Hello Petal. So maybe I get some double up there. He played in Cook Islands, which was season 13. He played Micronesia, Fans versus Favorites in 16. He played in South Pacific in 23, and he played in Game Changers in season 34. And before watching episode 1, I would have said, oh, he's not going to make it far. They're going to get rid of him. Because I just don't think he can play the game the way it is now. And after watching season 1, I 100% think they're going to get rid of him as soon as they can. He's still, he said he's trying not to play the game where he's the provider, but that's what he wants to do. And I don't know if he has the social game to like sit on a beach and talk with people instead of being out there fishing, swimming, doing. So I don't think he's going to last very long. And I don't think he's going to take it very well when he gets eliminated either. He really wants this. Okay, next we have Q, who is a former winner. Oh, no, he's not a winner. He came in 6th on season 46. For Q, I have assigned Spring Has Sprung. I'll probably continue to work on this anyway outside of the game. But yeah, I wanted that one to definitely have double the amount of stitching. So tribe and individual. He, super competitive. I was never super impressed with him. He's definitely more impressed with himself than I was of him. I don't think he's going to make it far. I think he can rub people the wrong way, but he can be a strong ally. So we'll see if he can gather people that rally around him. He might make it past the merge, but I don't know if he will. Okay, next we have Rick Devens, which you always have to say Rick Devens because he is, I think he still is. He is a news anchor or a weatherman. I can't remember. One of those two. For Rick, I have assigned Saying of the Season Spring. He played on Edge of Extinction in season 38. He lost in the fire making challenge, which was kind of sad. But he's one that I think, I don't know where how he will do, honestly. He has a big personality, which could probably rub people the wrong way, but it could also endear him to people. So it kind of just depends on how his tribe reacts to him and how well they do in challenges, because that always impacts. Big personalities get noticed. Next, we have Rizzo from season 49, the little baby, and I want him to do well, but I could also see him being a sacrificial lamb. For Rizzo, I decided to assign him Tulips by Stitching with the Housewives. I hope he's able to find some idols, use them, like really play his idol game, and I can get some good stitches on that. So I could see two things. Either they like sacrifice him because they don't have any relationships with him, they don't know him, or they will go after what they consider bigger players and ignore him and he'll fly under the radar. But they don't know that he is a big player. And he used the idols in ways that they don't understand or know about. And so, because none of them have seen season 49. So they filmed 49. They had like a week or two off and then they filmed 50. So none of these players have seen him play. And he could use the game he played with the idols in season 49. He could use them in season 50 again. It would not be new. I mean, it's not new to us. It would be new to all those players. So I don't know. Okay, next we have Savannah. She was on season 49 and she was the winner. She played a great game and I really considered her an underdog. She was on a tribe that kept losing. Then she had different alliances that kind of fell apart. And then towards the end, she just won so many immunity challenges that she was able to then form relationships and build an alliance. And she built an alliance with Rizzo. Right now, they're not on the same tribe. So it's going to see if they both survive the merge, what will happen in the end. But I think she made a huge mistake. In this first episode, she told them that she won season 49. And I think that's going to put a huge target on her back. And I think that's one of her weaknesses, is that she likes to let people know that she's good. Now, she didn't tell them that she has won a bunch of challenges. But I think she will. I think it will come out. I think she'll get backed into a corner and she'll want to defend herself, and I think that will come out. So I did assign her Tapestry of 12, which you saw today in my whip parade because I've already started it. And I'm super excited to see what she can do this season. Okay, next we have Stephanie. She is also an old school player. So she played in season 10, Peru, I think. She played in 11, Guatemala, so she did back-to-back. And she came back in 20 for Heroes versus Villains. So it's going to be interesting to see how she does with this new era of playing. I don't think she's going to last very far. I think she's really aggressive. And I think that with new era players, that does not fly under their, like, that does not go over well. I did assign her Windows of Time March by Crocetta Gogo. And last but never least, we have Tiffany. She played on season 46. And she's also a pretty aggressive player. So this will be interesting to see how she does. I think her personality can also be a bit abrasive. So I'm curious how she's going to fit in or flow with the other players, especially the other female players. But I've assigned her Windows of Time April. Okay, so let's talk episode 1. Let me get all of my, I have my chart. And I mean, look at everything that happened in episode 1. I don't even know. So this season is called In the Hands of the Fans. So the fans voted on things that would happen in the game. And they voted for idols. They voted for dynamic idols. They gave them rice, which was super nice. They gave them like where they had to earn their supplies. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So the first challenge, if you don't want any spoilers, please fast forward. The first challenge where they got all of their supplies, Vatu won. Oh, let me go to my Vatu won. But in the immunity challenge, they did not win. They got second place. So between a challenge win and then being saved, Vatu needs 300 stitches. So I need 300 stitches on saying of the Season Spring. And then Callow also won the immunity challenge. So as a tribe, Callow will need 200 stitches, and their whip is Spring Has Sprung. And then Coach actually won a challenge when they went on the journey. I think, oh my gosh, it was a 3-hour long episode, so I might need to take better notes. Anyway, Coach won an individual challenge, and his whip is Lady of the Flag, and she gets 200 stitches. So the tribe that ended up going to Tribal Council was Sela, and that is Hello Petal. And I have changed my stitch counts from my original game, and so I'm giving them 50 stitches for going to Tribal Council. After this first week, I might have to change several of my stitch counts, because if every week is this big, with this many things going on, then I might need to really drop some of these. So we'll see what happens. Okay, we had 3 idols or advantages found. So Ozzy and Genevieve both found idols, and So they get 200 stitches. So Ozzy also has Hello Petal, so that will be 200 stitches. So for total for this week, it's 250 on Hello Petal. Genevieve, hers is floral etchings. And so she'll get 200 stitches on floral etchings. And then Savannah went on the journey, and she actually got an advantage at the journey. And so she was Tapestry of 12, 200 stitches, and I've already done those. I was excited to start Tapestry of 12, so I started those already. I ended up doing 300 stitches. I finished the whole block, but I only needed to do 200, but that's okay. So I already have one highlighted and done for this week, and I also highlight them on my paper when I finish them, so that's good. And then Kyle was injured, and so it wasn't an elimination, but I wanted to at least work on his whip at least once in this game. So I did count it as an elimination. So that's 200 stitches, and his is the laundry trio. So I guess I better decide which one I'm going to do my 200 stitches on and start. And then Jenna, I said this before, Jenna was eliminated. She seemed very surprised. She didn't know that it was her. She didn't have an inkling. She thought it was somebody else. And so I did count it as a blindsided elimination, and that is on Primavera by Satsuma Street. So, episode 1 of Survivor. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 1,850 stitches for this week. That's a lot. That's a lot. Plus, I still have to finish up Traitors. So, we'll see how I do. Some of these I might wait and do when I have more. Like Sela being eliminated for 50 stitches. I might wait and do more Selas. Or Vatu getting saved was only 100 stitches. Maybe I'll save those. I'm not sure. So, we'll see. We'll see how I do. But that is my first week of Survivor stitching. The last thing I want to talk about is I was in a lot of stitching games and groups, and I've sort of narrowed it down to two. One is Ozabor, which I'm not getting a lot of stitches there. I guess a cobbler doesn't get a lot of business, since I have a little cobbler shop. So it doesn't take up very much time, and I'm able to double count stitches. Next, but the one that I'm absolutely loving, and I don't know, this one I love. It is the Fandom Stitching Challenge group. I've linked the Facebook group below that you can join. And then from there, there's a link. Once they approve you, there's a link to the Discord, and all of the challenges are run on Discord. And I know some people hate Discord, but we don't talk to each other. I mean, if we do, I don't know about it. I don't listen to any of the voice challenges. Voice channels. So it's just like so easy to find your things, to comment, to reply, to do all of that stuff. So, every month I'm going to talk about the different challenges to see if you're interested. And what I love is that you can join in on as little or as much as you like. You can join a team, or you don't have to join a team. I'm on a team just because I like the idea of my stitches going towards a group, goal, and you earn points. And what do you get with your points? Bragging rights. That's what you get with your points. And I kind of love that. So they have yearly challenges. So we have 26 whips that we're working on. And when you get 2,026 stitches on each of those whips, it's marked off. Excuse me. We have Role of a Lifetime, because all of these are musical themed. So a role in Broadway, right? So they're all different roles. It's 2,000 stitches on a project each time you get a roll. And then we have a yearly book challenge, which is fun to to get points for reading. Then we have monthly challenges. So each month there's like 18 prompts. I'm going to just read a few of them from this month. You get points if you attend a live performance, which is fun, if you finish a whip. And then things like Gypsy, that's one of the musicals this month that they're featuring. Gypsy features bold, brassy song, Everything's Coming Up Roses. Stitch 1,000 stitches on something with a flower. You get 10 points. But then some of them are really small, like this one. In The Sound of Music, the nuns bemoan their problem like Maria. Stitch 100 stitches on something that has been a problem for you. 1 point. So they have about 18 prompts every month. So that's really fun. Super creative. Then we have a March watch. So where you watch a musical, you get points. And if you do something stitchy while you're watching the musical, you can get points. And that can be stitching, but it can also be like bobbinating or something like that, which is great because you want to watch something while you do those things. So you can double count it. This month, the musicals that they've chosen are Brigadoon, Into the Woods, Grease, Phantom of the Opera, Cats, High School Musical, Six, The Sound of Music, Hello Dolly, Gypsy, Sing Street, Labyrinth, Annie Get Your Gun, Hamilton, and South Pacific. So all of the like monthly and weekly challenges will follow along with the themes in these musicals. And then they have like special events. So in March, the special event is like a March Madness bracket. So that's fun. And then every week they have a weekly challenge with 6 prompts. And you can stitch 50 stitches, 100 stitches, or 200 stitches for each prompt. And you get different points based on the amount of things you stitch. So for example, one of the challenge prompts this week is Brigadoon highlights the power of love. Stitch on a piece you love so much that you don't want to put it down. So that's super great. And then they have, like if you don't have a whip that fits the prompt, you can do off Broadway, which is one of your 26 and 26 pieces. You can stitch that for off Broadway. Different challenges double dip with each other. So, you know, often I'm stitching on something, but I'm counting it for more than one thing. And they also have, I forgot, in the yearly stitch along, they have in the yearly challenges, they have the Broadway stitch along, which I showed you today. So, and then they have pop-up challenges. Some of the pop-up challenges were, one was called Before They Were Musicals. And so there were different prompts about things before they became musicals. They did one for Kathleen O'Hara when she passed away and some things with her. And it's really fun. In February, they did a full coverage challenge as like an extra. And so it's really great. People are super supportive and nice. They have all these like chatty chat channels if you want to read them. I mean, they have a channel just for your pets if you want to show pictures of your pets, right? All your new starts, socials, like they have all these different things. So you can be really social on it, or you could just do the challenges. It's totally up to you. And I really like that there's the choice. So I'm loving it. If you think you're looking for a different kind of challenge, you can do that. What I also like about it is it's not like they're going to kick you out if you don't participate. So some of the other groups that I'm in, I fully expect to be kicked out of by the end of the year because I have like fully dedicated to the musical fandom, to like Traitors and Survivor. And so I'm not stitching in those groups and I'm not doing those challenges, and I bet they'll kick me out. And so I don't love that, you know, like we all have busy seasons in our lives, and To get kicked out of a Stitchy group is kind of sad. So I like that they don't kick you out. It can be as little or as much as you want. No pressure. And you're just doing it to like get some work done on your whips, right? And these really creative people have made prompts for you. So I love that. I'm also going to link below Stitching by the Shore. She does a lot of challenges, and she also follows a lot of people who do talent challenges. So if you're looking for something different, go check out her games. I think today or yesterday, she just posted a video of like the March Stitchy Games that she's playing. So that's super fun. And then the last thing I just want to mention is opening day for baseball is March 26th. And I have my baseball Stitchy game that I'm going to be playing. I'm a little nervous to see how this goes with Survivor and the baseball stitching game. So I think while I'm doing Survivor, I will probably be pulling from my Survivor whip list of the players that are still alive, or like not alive, like still in the game. So that I have that. Yeah. So you can go down and download my baseball templates if you want to stitch along with me in baseball season. So, that was a lot today. Thank you so much for being here, for sticking through if you watched the whole thing. I am going to try to do weekly updates, especially with Survivor and then moving into baseball, so that you can see what I've accomplished that week and what my plans are for the upcoming week. Anyway, happy Sunday, happy March. My birthday is on March 3rd. I am not doing a birthday start or a birthday stitch along or anything like that because of my Survivor stitching and all of the new starts that I have with Survivor. And so this whole month will be like new start month over here at Stitch with Leslie. So I hope it goes well. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making it to the end, if you made it to the end, and have a great rest of your Sunday.